when you search google.com, how does the traffic propagate and how do you get the results, basic functioning of a computer. So these are all the things that are very basic to our the whole purpose we have chosen BCA, and you guys made the right decision choosing BCA, was you guys are interested in tech, right? So being a techie, the foundations of our knowledge should be pretty good, right? So I would always recommend to focus on your foundation, make your foundation strong, and then work from there. And we did not have the privilege of AI engines and tools that during our college days that we could leverage. And I'm sure that you guys might be using Chat GPT and any other AI engines out there to enrich your knowledge, right? So that combined with your with your syllabus, it's going to make a tremendous change in your knowledge and skill level. And also another thing that I would propose is focus getting on certifications like be it any certification. Like if you're interested in coding, just go out there, and most of the certifications will be free. In YouTube itself, you'll find a huge spectrum of a playlist and YouTube videos that contains how to code. And you take any programming language, you can excel at this. And you can pair that with an AI engine. And if you don't understand, you can ask ChatGPT on how this code works, and it's gonna provide you the output in a very systematic way, right? So focusing on certifications would be, like I said, it's something that it's gonna help you in your career. So um, I think it was in 2020 I've enrolled for a diploma in information security and cyber forensics course, and I was able to pursue that along with my career, and which was really good. So what I recognized during the early days of my career is that all those mm, all this education levels and all the degrees that we have matters only to a certain extent. You gotta have the skills, and that's what is getting evaluated during the interviews, right? So uh, you graduate BCA, it's a very good thing, but at the same time you have to possess the skills in order to be in certain domain. Like if you are going to be a full stack developer, you have to start uh, gaining some certifications, gaining some knowledge on coding, right? Likewise, if you're someone like me who is interested in networking and cyber, you have to focus on some certifications like CCNA is one of the examples. Then which makes the foundations really strong. And then there's a few other certifications as well, like Fortinet provides a very good certification, right? And then I can think of Cisco certification, and these are all pretty free certifications. Or you can enroll to learning platform like Try Hack Me or Hack the Box. These are some of the learning platforms that I use till date, which is really updated, and it's going to contain all the necessary. The whole package of that course is designed in such a way that you're gonna upgrade your skill. So that's everything that I have to say with with education and career wise, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have regarding this at the end of the session. So I have a small deck prepared here. Now I know you guys prepare deck, and uh, you guys do that all the time. So I'm not going to bore you with 20 different slides going through each and every slide. So I try to keep the content very precise and very pristine. So these are all the subjects that will be covering today, right? Why cybersecurity matters now more than ever, top cyber threats. Now moving on to the next one, we have protecting your digital identity, phishing and social engineering. Moving on to the next one, we have data privacy and best practices. And I'm going to speak a little bit about real world cyber incidents and tips for staying safe online. Uh, yeah, so these are all the topics that we're gonna chat about today. So before we get started, is there any questions that you want to ask me? Guys, hello. Okay, I'll take that as I know I don't want to put anyone on the spot here. So I'll get started. So why cybersecurity matters more than ever now? This is a very generic term that most of us used to like. Cybersecurity is a very generic term, right? And individuals or organizations have started taking cybersecurity pretty seriously because of the fact that the number of cyber attacks is increasing day by day. And I've read a Gartner report where it says that per year it's costing at least $8 to $10 trillion um, for cyber crimes. That includes the ransomware that includes the ransom the companies paid to the bad actors. That includes the uh, the fines and everything that the companies are supposed to pay in an event of data breach and stuff. So $10 trillion is a huge amount of money. Now, when I throw these numbers at you, you're gonna wonder why $10 trillion and what happens. What does the attackers do, right? So when we think about cybersecurity, we always have the assumption that only organizations or only companies might be affected with um, a cyber attack. No, that's a wrong assumption. Individuals gets attacked by cyber attacks, right? So we're gonna walk through a few examples. We're gonna walk through a few scenarios where people got attacked, and I'm gonna share my personal experience on working on certain incident response for my customers. So part of the reason why we are vulnerable to cyber attacks is because of the sheer number of devices or technologies that we use on a day-to-day basis. So you take a phone, uh, it's vulnerable because the phone talks to the internet. So to put it in a very simple way, anything and everything that talks to the internet is basically vulnerable. So you take your home router, you take your mobile phone, you take your thermostat, you take your smart car, right? Or you take your firewall, your office computer, your printer. Everything basically talks to the internet in one way or the other. And thus, all these devices are basically attack vectors for a bad guy to do some bad stuff. So how does a printer, like, you might be wondering, how does a printer uh, make it really vulnerable for an organization? So what happens is, it's not just printer. If you have any device that is not currently patched, or if that device has any software that is out of date, right, it might pose certain vulnerabilities, and that's the perfect attack vector for a bad guy to run any arbitrary code or and take control over the machine. So to put it in a very simple way, let's take our college, and let's say we have 100 laptops or desktops in our lab, and all this all those machines are talking to the internet through an access point, right? Or a Wi-Fi router, to put it in a very simple way. So this router, let's say this router has a configuration, or let's say this router has a vulnerability, and our admin in our college forgot to patch that router for some time, and the bad guys are really scanning the network. So anything that is connected to the internet can be scanned by me. I can scan it, right? Or it can be scanned by you. So let's presume that I'm the bad guy and I'm looking for any vulnerable access points that can be leveraged for my attack. Now, when I scan the network, I see Christ College of Science and Management's access point. So now what I see is a vulnerable point for me to, just find my way into the network. Now, I compromised the machine. I got into the network. Now, what happens is there's a huge opportunity for me to exploit the machines. There's a huge opportunity for me to uh, grab sensitive information, right? So what are all the sensitive information that our college contains? It's going to contain your personal information, right? It's going to contain your marks, your let's say all your college records and stuff. So that could be taken out, right? And let's say all this sensitive information is maintained separately on an on-premise server in our computer science department. It's logged in an on-prem server, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to scan the network now, and I'm going to find how many devices are connected to that access point. So that's what I'll be doing from a pen tester's standpoint. So I do the scanning, and I found that, okay, so there are 100 machines in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for any I'm going to leverage any anything that can provide me access to your Active Directory. So I'm pretty sure all of you guys know what an Active Directory is, right? So that would be something that I'd be really curious in understanding. So get the access to Active Directory, right? And then just recon for usernames, recon for do a recon for uh, service user accounts and stuff. So that's
நம்ம ஸ்டேட்டஸ் పెట్టినా ఇప్పుడు పులి రాస్తున్నారు ఐదు ఐదు
okay. Thank you. Thanks for that. Okay, so from an attacker standpoint, that's how ask yourself the question. So when we talk about utilities and vectors, maybe you should ask Adalakshmi ma'am or any other faculty in our computer science department, what kind of firewall does Christ College of Science and Management use? When is it patched? What are all the access points that we have right now? How many access points do we have? How do you save sensitive information? Do you maintain a separate backup for the sensitive information, right? And then are all the devices getting patched on a regular basis, right? And what sort of standards do you use to save your passwords? Do you maintain a separate password um, saving tool, or how does that work, right? And do you do some sort of network segmentation in our college? So these are all the questions that we should be asking ourselves, and we should be asking our teachers. How is the whole thing set up in our college? And you should be really curious to know that, because mm, one of my friends back in 2000, back during my college days, was able to access all the cameras in our college. So at that point, there was a configuration issue on how the cameras were set up, which allowed him to access the cameras all around the college. I'm pretty sure the settings might have changed now, but it would be really a starting point for you to think and propose some really good recommendations um, for making your network strong, right? So whatever you learn in your college, try to implement that thought into your daily life. That's how um, makes your skills grow, right? Now, uh, let's come back to cybersecurity, right? Uh, when I think about the attack vectors, like we talked about IoT devices, we talked about how automated smart cars might be really vulnerable. Now, I have a story to share with respect to smart cars. So back in 2014, you all know about um, a company called Jeep, right? So Jeep car had a serious flaw in their infotainment system, so which allowed the attackers to compromise the infotainment system, and then the attackers were able to get control over the Jeep's CAN bus system. So it's a technology that's going to manage the vehicle's braking system. It's going to manage the vehicle's ABS and everything. So nowadays, all the cars that is in the market is full of sensors. It's full of technology, and it's really complex. And all this technology is talking to the internet in some or the other way. So what happened with the Jeep hack was, uh, bad actors were able to remotely start and turn off the car, and then they were able to remotely brake and steer the car. So imagine what happens if you're driving on a freeway, you're going from Hosur to Bangalore on the highway, and your smart car is being taken over by a bad actor, and he's let's what's going to happen at that time, right? So this is how technology is evolving. At the same time, this is how bad actors are using the technology to hurt people, right? So, and that is the reason why cybersecurity is important now more than ever. Now, talking about the top cyber threats, there's a huge variety of threats, and uh, all these topics that we are discussing today. This is going to be very high level, and I'm not going to get into the weeds of everything, because every topic itself has a lot to talk about, and this topic itself, one topic should itself be a separate discussion session. So let's keep it very high level. So talking about top cyber threats, one thing that I come across daily on my um, professional life is malwares. So users would be going through the internet, clicking on something random, which is going to download a piece of application on their machine. And when you look at the logs are going to tell you the whole story of what the malware is doing, how is it propagating, how is it behaving, and how is it trying to compromise the system and the company's infrastructure, if you take it as a whole company. Now, before we go into the top cyber threats, I just want to show you how enterprise is going to detect all those cyber threats. So, security analyst, that is someone who, like me, who is trying to protect a customer's uh, network or their ID infrastructure. So we have a tool called SIM tool. So this is called Security Information and Event Management System. So this SIM tool is like an umbrella. It's going to accumulate log from every device. Like you take IPS, intrusion prevention system, you take IDS, you take routers, you take access points, and it's going to send details from your sign-in logs from your O365 tenant. Then we have other information coming from cyber threat intelligence. So these are CTI feeds. So everything comes to the SIM tool, and me as a SOC analyst, I'm gonna monitor the logs. And in the SIM tool itself, there are detection rules configured uh, within the system, right? Within the SIM tool. So what happens is when let's say Adilakshmi ma'am clicks on a phishing link, I get an alert saying that, okay, Adilakshmi ma'am from computer science department, click on this link. So Arun, just go and do an investigation on what happened on that machine. So that's how it works. So what I do is I just look into the SIEM tool. I just pull up Adilakshmi ma'am's computer. I just go through the logs. What happened? When did she click it? And what was the landing page of that URL? What does it do? Is it downloading any malware? And if it downloaded any piece of application, how is it behaving? What are all the changes that the malware is doing on the system? Right? These are all the things that me as a SOC analyst would monitor on the user's machine, right? And that's how companies they detect threats in their environment. Now, going to the top cyber threats, malware is one of the top cyber threat. Then we have phishing. So I'm pretty sure you're pretty much very familiar with the term phishing. Uh, and then ransomware is one other thing that companies have been struggling with. And there's a lot of um, computational power these days. By that I mean, bad guys are using botnets, or they're using um, uh, machines with high computational power to focus their attacks, right? So, oh, and again, these threats are also powered with AI engines. So, similar to the way we use AI, bad guys use it to a whole different purpose. So, how is AI being leveraged in cyber threats? So, one of the examples that I can put forward is phishing attempts. So, AI is used in phishing attempt um, to generate. Uh, it's called as spear phishing. So what happens is there's an AI bot that is going to scrape your Instagram profile. So when the bot goes to your Instagram profile, it's going to grab your name, it's going to grab your personal information, it's going to grab it's going to see your status, and basically we all update stuff in our Instagram, and we all you know being netizens will just keep everything posted and keep our daily lives shared in social media platforms, right? And this is what the bad guys would be using to leverage and draft some sort of spear phishing email and send it across to you. And you might think that, okay, this is coming from a legit source, and you might click on the link, right? And the other way bad guys use AI is to imitate deep voice and um, AI generated video and audio deep fakes. So what happens is, if you upload some sort of video or any reel in Facebook or any reel in Instagram, the bot that is created by a bad guy, it's going to extract your voice out of it, and it's going to send personalized voice messages or personalized phone calls to your loved ones, and it's gonna demand for money, or it's gonna so the bot itself, on the behalf of the bad actor, it's gonna do things that might hurt you financially or personally. So that's how AI is being leveraged. It's not just social engineering or phishing attempts that the AI is being used for. It's a whole to the impact of using AI within cyber attacks is it's tremendous. Now, protecting your digital identity. So this is a very important topic that I want to discuss with you today. Um, just before we get started, I want to ask you a question. So, how many of you use two-factor authentication for your social media accounts? Raising your hands would be suffice. I just want to know how many people use. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, that's yeah. I can see many hands being raised. Yeah. So using two-factor authentication is one of the very important things that we always suggest to our customers to use two-factor authentications. Now, MFA is not the only way to secure your account, because I've seen individuals giving up their even their 2FA code to the bad actor, right? So uh, using MFA is just a preliminary way to secure your account. At the same time, you should always use a good password to your online account. And when I say good password, it should not contain your personal information. Now, one of my friends back in college had his username, sorry, his email as I'm not going to say the name, but his email contained 1998 within his email ID. Now, I'm not going to ask if you have any, but if you do have any, your date of birth or any personal information that might be used to identify you, just try to remove that from your email account. And it's not just your email account, it's just all the information that you provide online could be used or leveraged against you, right? So do not sign up for any website or any service that you're not aware about, because you don't know what's getting collected or what information is being processed, right? So that's something that you gotta keep in your mind. And then use a password management or um, security tool for managing your passwords. And there's a lot of tools out there that can be downloaded free, and it's really free to use. One example that I have, I mean, I personally use Bitwarden as my password manager. It's really good. I use LastPass. That's also a password manager that I use. By using a password manager, you don't have to save your password in Google Chrome, or you don't have to save that. Do not save passwords on a sticky notes, by the way. So these are all some things that we should be aware about. And saving the passwords securely is something that's gonna help us protect our accounts. And then yeah, and I want to talk about installing applications that you're not aware about. So how many of you have third-party applications for photo editing? I see 3 hands up before I finish my question. Okay, very good. I can see some hands here. So uh, did you really go through, I'm not saying the license agreement, I just want to know, did you read through what all information the app is going to use for editing your photos? Because once I've installed an application on my phone, and it was asking me for my access to my contacts. So uh, a photo editing app doesn't need an access to your contact. Or if you install a flashlight application, it doesn't need access to your contact, right? There is a first class action suite that is filed against Temu for tracking your personal information, right? So always be very aware about what application you are installing and what information you feed to the internet. So that is something that you have to keep in your mind. Now, we all have routers at our home. We have Wi-Fi's that we use at our home, and basically it's our home network. What happens most of the time is there's a service person that's going to come to your home, plug in the Wi-Fi router. It's going to give you the connection and say, "Sir or madam, everything is good. You're good to go, and you're good to connect." None of us would even bother to change the default password of a router to something that is custom, right? When I say default password of the router, I mean the management console password. I'm not talking about the Wi-Fi password. So, uh, is there anyone in this room that is bothered enough to change the password of your default? I mean, the default configuration on your router. Did anyone think to change that? Sorry. Okay, I misheard someone. Okay, so once this class is over, if you have the time, just go check your there's a lot of videos in the YouTube where they're going to guide you to change the default configuration. So sometimes the password would be password 123 for your management console on your router, and sometimes RDP would be enabled by default on your router, and these are very known attack vectors for bad guys to compromise your home network. And be very aware. And if you have the time, just spend some time to change all the settings. And one other thing that I want to point out is, do not connect to public Wi-Fi networks that you're not sure about. So going to a coffee shop, connecting to a network, this is really something that's going to get you compromised. Now, I was personally involved in a pen testing project. By pen testing, I mean penetration testing, where organizations pay us to compromise their network or their infrastructure to make sure that their services or their security is in place. So what we ended up doing is we set up and what do we call it? So we went to the company's coffee shop, and we set up an evil Wi-Fi router, and we kept it open. And we saw that people coming to the coffee shop are connecting to that Wi-Fi when it is managed by us. So we were able to grab their machine information. We were able to get their, their phone models, their phone information, and everything. We were able to reconnaissance that. So this is something the bad actors might use, like setting up an evil Wi-Fi connection and waiting for people to just come and click on it is something that it's very prevalent, right? So moving on to the next one. Um, what do we have? We've covered phishing and social engineering. We've covered data privacy and best practices, real world cyber incidents. So I've spoken a bit about Jeep hack. And you can search in the internet. You can find similar compromises associated to BMW, associated to, I think it was Ford, that got compromised in 2018 or something. I don't exactly remember the date, but BMW, I'm pretty sure they also got compromised with a similar hack, right? And one example that I have for you is this. I was working for a customer back in 2020, and I received a phone call in the middle of the night saying that the firewalls are compromised. The whole network has been breached. Now, when I just wake up, I just turn on my computer, and there was an incident response war room that was established. I log in, and I can see from the customer side there is a whole group of people that has joined, including their IT guys, and they don't know what's going on. So we were trying to grab all the logs, see what happened. We were trying to just analyze, go through the logs, and check what alerts triggered and stuff like that. So to keep the long story short, what we found was there was a vulnerability on the firewall. They were using Palo Alto firewalls, and this vulnerability is what gave up their whole network. So so Palo Alto released. Palo Alto is the name of the company, and it's the name of the vendor of the firewall. So uh, they failed to patch their firewall, and there was a vulnerability there was a patch released by Palo Alto to fix this vulnerability, but the company failed to do the patching, and that's what gave up their machine. And in terms of account compromise, I come across people who click on something suspicious on their email, even they know that it's something spooky, they still click on it and give up their credentials. Now, from a security or from an analyst standpoint, when I uh, check their sign-in logs, I can see their user account being logged in from Russia, from Kazakhstan, from US, from Canada. So it's all over the place that the logins are found. So this is login from different geolocations is what I see on a daily basis, and users downloading something from the internet, not knowing what the application is, and the application might behave really weird on the host. And this is something that I come across on a daily basis. And one interesting thing that always stays in my mind is we were doing some analysis for potential user compromise. Uh, so we came to know that uh, from analysis, we're going through the logs, and most of the time, log analysis provide us a better understanding, or it provides us a close to clear understanding of what happened with a potential compromise, right? What happened in the background. So we were doing the analysis, and we found that the user just went to a website that is hosted in Russia, and uh, under the hoods of the browser, I mean, he was using Chrome browser, and there was a JavaScript code that was executed without the user knowing. So when I went to that website on my sandbox environment, I didn't see any pop-ups or I didn't see any files that is being downloaded. So this script was being executed on the back end of the machine. So the execution was completed and the user's machine was started behaving very weirdly. We could see like tens of gigs of memory or data going outside of India, and we were really curious of as in why this happened, and uh, doing the root cause analysis really helped us to nail down the situation on what's going on. So always be aware about what you click in in a web page, right? Because there is a lot of hyperlinks and a lot of advertisements that you're not really sure about. So us end users might not have the complex security tools that the companies might use. The only way to keep us safe is to be aware about what you know how you behave online. That's what's going to keep you safe. And one final example that I have is if you go to the internet and if you search for Iran's nuclear facility hack, there's a very good document or blog written on it. So uh, Iran had a very good nuclear program, and what the bad actors did is they deployed a worm. You guys know what a worm is, right? Virus and worm. So they deployed a worm. The name of the worm is Stuxnet. Stuxnet. That's the name of the worm. So this worm was deployed on the machines, and uh, at that point, unfortunately, some of the Windows machines that Iran had in the nuclear power plant had a zero-day exploit vulnerability. So this worm propagated laterally through the network undetected. At the same time, it was compromising all these machines. So what this worm does is, so in the nuclear power plant, there will be centrifuges, right, which is going to do its thing and generate electricity for that country. So the centrifuge is being configured to spin at a specific field, right? So it really spins at a specific field, specific speed. So what happened is this worm manipulated the values on how the centrifuge should spin, and finally it just messed up the uh, one second, sorry. Yeah, so the centrifuge started spinning out of speed, and this caused physical degradation of the machines over time. And without proper operators realizing what was happening, the malware manipulated feedback to make the systems appear normal on the monitoring software effectively. So, unlike a typical malware, uh, the Stuxnet worm was designed to avoid detection and selectively target specific configurations. So the centrifuges were spinning at manipulated speeds, eventually causing them to wear out prematurely. And the end story of what happened is a small vulnerability on the Windows machine completely crippled Iran's nuclear enrichment program. So that's what happened. So um, to make a long story short, it's the small things that we should be careful about to keep ourselves safe, right? Whether it be providing your information online, to keeping your machines or keeping your phones up to date with patches, it's very important to take care of that. Now, when you have some time, check what's the latest. If you have the latest patch updated on your personal computer, if you have your Defender signature updated, right? If your phone is running on some old version of software, so you please spend some time to check it, and keep in mind about providing your information online, and you'll be safe. Okay, so it's going to be a consolidated effort uh, of keeping yourself safe online. Okay, with that being said, I think I'm 1 minute over the time. Open to the question. Sorry, I did not get the time to keep the floor open for questions. So I can spend 15 more minutes here. You guys can unmute yourself, ask me questions, and I'll be happy to answer. Hello.
Hi, sir. I'm Ruben.
Hi, Ruben. You can call me Arun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a problem. Sir, actually, I have a doubt that how does the quantum computers threaten the traditional encryption methods?
Okay, so quantum computing is a whole different ball game, and uh, like I said, like attackers use nowadays they use systems with high computational power, and that's when quantum computing come into play uh, in terms of decrypting tool packages and stuff. So the more the power you have, the more damage you can do. It's a correlation. Does that answer your question,
Thank you,
Ruben?
sir. Yeah, of course, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, does anyone else have any questions that you want to ask me? And you can always reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile, or I'll share my email address here. Drop an email. I'm always free to chat. Okay.
Hello, sir. This is Mavish.
Hi, Mavish.
I have a question, sir. Like,
Mm.
which type of technical knowledge and skill we required for cybersecurity, sir, as a
It's
student?
all that's a very good question, Mavish. Focus on the basics that you have that you're covering in your college, uh, because that's, like I said, that's the foundation, right? So focus on it, and then try to upgrade your skills by uh, taking some certifications. And if you talk about cybersecurity in specific, there's a whole lot of certifications out there. Like Cisco provides good certifications. Like I think Fortinet provides a basic understanding on networking and stuff. Cisco's CCNA course, routing and switching to be precise, is what I have taken. And then what else? IBM provides certifications. I don't know if that's paid or free. And again, there is a lot of platforms out there like Coursera or yeah, Coursera is one of the platforms that I remember taking some certifications from. So yeah, just search in the internet about free cybersecurity training. And wait, let me see if I can find you. Okay, Hack the Box and Try Hack Me are two very good platforms that I use. It's the modules for Hack the Box and Try Hack Me are pretty well defined, and it's um, the outlay of the syllabus is also pretty good. So that's something that you can refer. Thanks, my wish. Anybody else?
Sir, myself, Zainab, sir, I have a question like, what are the emerging trends in cybersecurity? Like, as a student, we should know.
Sorry, can you be a bit more precise, Zainab? Emerging trends and in what in general cybersecurity domain, like in terms of what threats, in terms of jobs.
Yes,
What?
sir. Like
Uh,
in industry, like what is the demand of what kind of trends is in demand in industry?
okay, so uh, okay, so when you take cybersecurity, there's a lot of job opportunities that can be come that comes into play, right? So you got the DevOps engineer who is going to create who's going to manage like a sim platform that I told, who's going to create detection logics, who's going to do automation work. Like if you are interested in Python, then just working on the automation sector of cybersecurity is something that I would focus on. Then, if you're interested in networking, there is networking section within cybersecurity department that might that you'll fit into. And then, if your analytical skills are good, you can always be a cybersecurity analyst, right? And then coding skills definitely helps, right? And then there's data loss prevention team that is going to look into data loss and data theft and stuff like that. And then there is identity fraud team, and this is specifically for banks and stuff. They have a specific team, they have a separate team for identity thefts and stuff. And also then there is GRC team, which is compliance and risk management. So this team, you might not need coding skills to be a part of that team, right? So it's going to be a governance role, and you basically would be responsible for making sure the IT team or the company's technology is in compliance with specific standards. So that's the GRC team for you. It's not just what I have mentioned. There's a whole spectrum of job opportunities that comes within cybersecurity domain.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks, Zainab.
One more question, sir. As you said, OSI reference model. So now we are going through this OSI reference model. So how it is relating to cybersecurity?
Okay, so what is OSI in the first place, right? It's a seven.
Physical layer.
No, OSI, it's a 7-layer, right? It contains of
Yeah.
7 layers, which starts from application layer and ends in the physical layer, right? So OSI layer gives us a pretty good understanding on how the traffic is being transmitted from one layer to layer, and how an end user gets a results. Like, for example, when I search for facebook.com, you can just relate that to the OSI layer on how the traffic correlates. So that's the networking part, right? So this provides you the basic understanding on how a computer or how your system talks to the internet and other devices, right? You have the network layer, you have the transport layer. So what are the functions of network and transport layer? That understanding comes from really knowing what an OSI layer is, right? So that is how it gets transformed to cybersecurity. Now, there is no direct connection with you cannot just relate OSI layer with cybersecurity. It's just OSI layer is what provides you the basic understanding on how a network or a network device works, right? Hope I answered your question, Mavish.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. No.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else?
Sir, I need a.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to ask a question.
Yeah.
Like, I used to study Linux, but it is a bit difficulty where I search of contents. So, would you suggest some easy way to understand the concepts? Because
Okay. So the easy. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
then I have a personalized question. Like, I have experienced that I have searched it. In image files, there are the phishing hack methods, but how after the victim opened the image file, they don't know that the virus being injected in the victim system. So how would we prevent from it?
Sorry. Can you repeat the last part of your question? How do you prevent?
How do we prevent from the getting virus in our system?
Yeah, it's what we've already covered. I would say make sure that the websites, and make sure that what you do online, do not download anything that you're not familiar with, like for example clicking on an email link which is going to end up which is going to land you on a different page that you're not really sure about, which is going to download a piece of application on your computer in the background, right? So the best practices that we have discussed over the meeting is what's going to at least protect you from getting malwares on your machine, right? So be aware about what you do on the internet. That's a, a very simple explanation that I can give to you. And to answer your first question, how to understand Linux, I would always depend on Chat GPT if you're not really um, if that's something that you cover outside your syllabus. If you want to look into Linux, if you are looking into some complex programming and stuff, you can always ask your teachers. And also if you want to go above and beyond, you can uh, look up on Chat GPT. So you have a piece of code and you don't know how this code works, you want to understand a better way, so ask Chat GPT that. I mean, use technology. That's what I would say.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks, Gagan. Okay, anyone else? Guys, I know we have only covered the high level overview of stuff. It would be very awesome if we could take one topic, like for example, if you want to talk specifically about malwares, or if you want to talk specifically about want me to talk specifically about virus, malware, malicious PowerShell scripts and stuff, we can always do that, because this is just an introduction, and there's a lot to talk about in each and every section that you see here on the screen. So I'd be happy to just have another session with you. Okay. Any other questions that you have? Atlakshmi ma'am, are we good? Do you have
Yeah,
anything to share?
yeah. Hopefully, no more questions, I believe.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good.
And you have given me a hint to call you back again. Okay, so we can expect.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, no worries, no worries. I just need some time to prepare, because
Yes,
this
of
time
course, of
instead
course.
of
Take your own time. So
yeah,
probably the next semester again we can connect little more, because many students here in our department, they are pretty interested in cybersecurity.
yeah,
So
that's good to know.
and
Yeah,
that's the reason, because compared to the resource person looking outside, you are super senior to these students, and of course, your words have more value than any others. So that's the reason. No, even I know that it's very short notice. I've called you,
yeah, no worries.
and you will be the right size for this. That's the reason.
Okay, really happy to be a part of this. I mean, this time, I mean, instead of uh, talking, I think what students expect is,
Mm.
I think they need to see what happens. I mean, I just want to show them a visual demonstration of how things work. So for example, if you take phishing, I want to simulate a phishing attempt, and then show that, okay, so when you click on this link, this is what happens. So I want to stand from an attacker's standpoint and show what an attacker does when someone clicks on a phishing link. So that's what I would be prepared for our next session. So
Yeah, yeah, sure.
okay,
The next
all
semester will
right.
tell you. We'll give you
Yeah.
sufficient time for you.
Yeah, so that I can be prepared, and
Yes,
let
yes,
me know. Please let me know in advance when you want, and we can set something up for sure.
definitely, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
sounds
and
good.
students, hopefully there is no question. Shall we, Marin ma'am? We'll move on to the. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for a wonderful session. Now it's time for a feedback. Please feel free to convey your feedback.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Briti. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful session. It was really very nice that an alumni from our college who came and gave a session on such a wonderful topic. I hope we all got a very good advice, and I hope we have got a very good experience from your session, sir. Thank you so much for a wonderful session, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Priti. Appreciate the kind words. And please don't call me sir. You can call me Arun. Okay. So
Thank you, Briti. Next, I invite Mr. Albi Jose of second BCA for vote of thanks.
As we come to close off this insightful national level workshop on Stay Safe Online Cybersecurity for the Digital Age, a part of our alumni interaction series, it's my privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our distinguished resource person, Mr. Arun V. Sir, your expertise and insights have greatly enriched our understanding of cybersecurity. Your dedication to the field and generosity in sharing your knowledge have been invaluable to everyone present today. We're truly grateful for the time, effort, and commitment you invested in preparing and delivering such an informative and engaging session. Your expertise have undoubtedly empowered us with the knowledge and inspiration needed to navigate the challenges, opportunities ahead in the field of cybersecurity. I would also like to thank all participants for their active engagement, thoughtful questions, and valuable contribution throughout the workshop. Your enthusiasm has made this event a great success. Once again, thank you, everyone.
thanks,
Dear
Albi.
participants, Dear participants, a feedback link has been shared in the chat box and will remain active for the next 15 minutes. We kindly encourage you to take a moment and complete the form as your input is invaluable to our ongoing improvement. Upon submitting your feedback, an e-certificate acknowledging your participation will be emailed to you. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot, Arun.
Thanks, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll call you in sometime. Okay.
Definitely.
Thanks, guys, for joining the meeting, and have a wonderful night. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Marine ma'am, could you give the feedback link in YouTube live?